I stood in the airport terminal, watching my family board without me. My phone exploded with notifications. My sister Caroline screamed across the terminal, causing a scene. Security approached. I turned off my phone, picked up my suitcase, and walked toward the exit. For the first time in 10 years, I was choosing myself. The next morning, I woke to 417 text messages, all variations of the same accusation. You ruined our vacation. But what they don't know yet is that I also ruined their entire plan. 2 weeks earlier, I was sitting at my desk at work when my phone buzzed with a group text from my mother. The message was simple but commanding. Family vacation, Florida beach resort, 10 days, June 15th through 25th, everyone must attend. I stared at the screen, already feeling the familiar weight settling on my chest. The group included my parents, Linda and Frank, my sister Caroline, her husband Derek, and their 5-year-old twins, Madison and Tyler. I noticed immediately that I wasn't being asked. I was being told. I was in the middle of the biggest project of my career. 3 months earlier, I'd been promoted to marketing director at a tech startup in Seattle. This campaign launch was my first major responsibility in the new role, and it was scheduled for mid-June. My team was counting on me. Our investors were watching closely. This wasn't something I could just walk away from. I typed a polite response in the group chat, explaining my work situation and respectfully declining. I even added a smiley face to soften it. Within 30 seconds, my phone rang. Caroline, you're not serious, she said before I could even say hello. I have a product launch, Caroline. I explained it in the text. Aletta, come on. You always put work first. This is family. The twins have been asking about you. There it was. That specific whiny tone in her voice that I'd learned over 32 years meant she wanted something from me. My stomach tightened. I'd love to see the twins, but the timing doesn't work. Maybe we can plan something for July or August instead. Mom and Dad already booked your ticket and your room, she said casually, as if this was perfectly normal. I felt my face flush. What? I didn't authorize that. We knew you'd say yes eventually. We just wanted to lock in the good rates before they went up. I opened my credit card app while she was still talking. There it was, a charge for $3,200 posted 2 days ago. My hands started shaking. Caroline, someone used my credit card without my permission. That's not okay. Oh, don't be so dramatic. Mom has your card info from that emergency last year. She was just trying to help. The emergency she referenced was 6 months ago when my mother claimed she needed to book a doctor's appointment online and didn't have a credit card. I'd given her my information to help, and she promised to pay me back immediately. She never did. It was only $75, so I let it go. Clearly, that had been a mistake. I took a deep breath. I need whoever charged my card to refund it immediately. I'm not going. Too late. It's non-refundable, Caroline said cheerfully. So you might as well come. Look, I'll text you the details. We're all so excited. She hung up before I could respond. Seconds later, the group chat exploded. Mom, Aletta, don't be difficult. We did you a favor by booking early. Everything's more expensive if you wait. Dad, your mother spent hours planning this. The least you can do is show some appreciation. Caroline, I already told Madison and Tyler that Aunt Aletta is coming. You wouldn't want to disappoint them, would you? I set my phone face down on my desk and tried to focus on my work. But the messages kept coming. Every buzz felt like a small electric shock. Finally, I picked it up again. Me. Who authorized the charge to my credit card? This needs to be refunded. Mom, we knew you'd say yes eventually, sweetie. We just secured the booking before prices went up. Family always comes first. Dad. Don't be dramatic, Aletta. It's just money. Family is more important than a number in a bank account. Just money. $3,200 was just money to them because it wasn't their money. Then Caroline sent a private message. I opened it, hoping for an apology, or at least some understanding. Instead, I got the truth. Okay, real talk, she wrote. I really need your help with the twins during this trip. Derek has some important business calls he has to take, and Mom and Dad deserve to actually relax for once. They shouldn't have to be chasing around grandkids the whole time. I was really hoping to get some spa time and maybe some romance with Derek, you know? It's been so hard lately. Anyway, you'll be sharing a room with the twins. It'll save money and you can keep them entertained at night while Derek and I have some couple time. It'll be fun! The twins love you. I read the message 3 times, feeling my blood pressure rise with each pass. This wasn't a family vacation. This was free childcare with a beach view. I opened my laptop and searched for the resort. When I found it, I scrolled through the photos. Beautiful property. Luxury amenities. 5-star reviews. Then I saw something that made my stomach drop. I recognized the palm tree-lined entrance from somewhere. I opened Caroline's social media and scrolled back 2 months. There it was. Her college friend Brittany had posted photos from this exact resort. The same entrance, the same pool, the same sunset view. Caroline had commented on every single photo with heart emojis, and this looks amazing. This entire trip wasn't about family bonding. Caroline had seen her wealthy friends' vacation photos and decided to recreate them for her own social media. She'd built a whole vacation around jealousy and appearances, and it'd been cast as the unpaid help. I stood up from my desk and walked to the window. Seattle spread out below me, gray and drizzly as always in early June. I thought about every family gathering over the past 5 years, ever since the twins were born. Every single one had ended with Caroline handing me a diaper bag and disappearing. Last Thanksgiving, Shed vanished for 4 hours, claiming she needed to do some Black Friday shopping. I'd spent the entire time keeping Madison and Tyler entertained while everyone else watched football. Christmas, she and Derek had shown up for exactly 45 minutes before announcing they had a party to attend. You don't mind watching them, do you? It's just for a couple hours. The twins had slept over, and Caroline picked them up at noon the next day. My birthday last April, Caroline had arrived with the kids, stayed for less than 20 minutes, and asked if they could stay just for a little while because she had a hair appointment. That little while had turned into an overnight stay. I'd spent my 32nd birthday playing Candyland and making dinosaur-shaped pancakes. I loved Madison and Tyler. They were sweet, funny, energetic kids, but I was exhausted from being used. And now my family wanted me to spend $3,200 of my own money to be a live-in nanny for 10 days while my sister pretended to be an influencer. That night, I barely slept. I kept picking up my phone, typing responses to the group chat, and then deleting them. Nothing I said would matter. They'd already decided what I was going to do. My opinion was irrelevant. The following Sunday, my mother called and invited me to dinner. Just a casual family meal, she said. Nothing special. I should have known better. I arrived at my parents' house in Tacoma around 5 in the evening. Caroline's minivan was already in the driveway. My heart sank. This wasn't a casual dinner. This was an ambush. I walked through the front door to find everyone already gathered in the living room. Madison and Tyler spotted me immediately and came running over, their faces bright with excitement. Aunt Aletta! Aunt Aletta! Look what we made for you. Madison held up a crayon drawing of stick figures on a beach. That's you and me and Tyler building a sandcastle. Tyler thrust his own drawing at me. And this is us swimming. See the dolphins. My heart cracked. They were so innocent in all of this. They had no idea they were being used as emotional weapons. These are beautiful, I said, kneeling down to hug them both. You two are such good artists. We're so excited for the beach, Madison said. Mommy said we're going to have the best time ever with you. I looked up at Caroline, who was watching with a satisfied smile. She'd clearly been preparing the twins for this moment. Why don't you two go show Grandma your drawings? I suggested gently. They ran off, and I stood up, facing my family. My mother patted the couch next to her. Come sit, honey. Dinner's almost ready. I made your favorite pot roast. Of course she did. Even the menu was strategic. We sat down for dinner, and for the first 20 minutes, everyone acted normal. Dad asked about my job. Caroline talked about Tyler's soccer practice. Derek discussed a new client at his consulting firm. It was almost pleasant. Then, as Mom served dessert, she began. You know, girls, when you were little, we took the most wonderful family vacations together. She said, her voice wistful. Do you remember that trip to Yellowstone? And the summer we drove down the California coast. I remember, Caroline said, right on cue. Those were the best times. Family vacations create such important memories. Mom continued. Some of my happiest moments were those trips with all of us together. I took a bite of apple pie and said nothing. Dad cleared his throat. I'm not getting any younger, you know. 67 this year. Your mother and I don't know how many more chances we'll have for trips like this with the whole family. There it was. The age card. That's why this vacation is so important, Mom added. We want to make memories while we still can. I looked at Caroline. Her eyes were red and watery. She'd either been crying or was about to start. Derek put his arm around her shoulders. The twins have been counting down the days, Derek said in his most reasonable voice. It's really important for them to have quality time with their aunt. They talk about you constantly, Aletta. I set down my fork. I appreciate that. But I've explained my work situation. I have a product launch that I'm responsible for. My entire team is depending on me. Your sister managed to have a career and children, Mom said. Surely you can figure out how to make family a priority too. The comparison stung exactly as Shed intended it to. Caroline had worked as a dental hygienist before the twins were born. Shed quit when they were 6 months old and hadn't worked since. We had completely different careers and completely different lives, but my mother loved to hold her up as the standard I was failing to meet. When I was your age, family came first, Dad said. This generation is too focused on work, work, work. You forget what really matters. I haven't forgotten what matters, I said quietly, but I also have responsibilities. I can't just abandon my team. Caroline's tears spilled over. You've always been jealous of me, she said, her voice breaking. You can't stand that I have a family, and you don't. That's what this is really about, isn't it? I stared at her in disbelief. Caroline, that's not true and you know it. Then why are you trying to ruin this? She sobbed. Why can't you just be supportive? I need this vacation. I need a break. Derek and I need time to reconnect. Can't you understand that? Derek rubbed her back. Caroline has been under a lot of stress lately. This vacation would really help her. Can't you be there for your sister? The twins appeared in the doorway, drawn by their mothers crying. Mommy, what's wrong? Madison asked, her little face worried. Nothing, baby, Caroline said, wiping her eyes. Mommy's just emotional. Come give me a hug. They rushed to her, and she wrapped them up dramatically. I felt like I was watching a performance. I tried one more time. I'm happy to spend time with Madison and Tyler another time. We could do a weekend trip, just the 3 of us, in July. But I can't do 10 days in Florida right now. About the money, I continued, turning to my parents. I need that $3,200 refunded to my card immediately. Mom's face flushed. We can't do that. It's all non-refundable. If you don't come, you lose all that money. You spent my money without asking. That's theft. Dad's fist hit the table. Don't you dare threaten your mother. We're family. Family doesn't sue family. Family also doesn't steal from each other. I shot back. If you don't come, Mom said, her voice tight. We lose our deposit too. Our room is part of a package deal with yours, so you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting all of us. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out and glanced at the screen. It was an email from the resort with my reservation confirmation. I opened it, curious about the details. My blood went cold as I read it. The email thanked me for booking the premium family package. But it was the reservation notes that made me feel sick. Guest will provide childcare services. Please provide porta-crib and children's amenities. I scrolled down to the room details. What they'd told me was a regular room was actually described as a connecting suite annex. I clicked on the photos. The space had 2 toddler beds, a changing table, and a pull-out sofa. There was no real bed for me, and there was a connecting door to the main suite, which I could see from the floor plan was Caroline and Derek's room. They'd literally booked me as the live-in nanny. The resort thought I was the hired help. I stood up abruptly. I need to go. Aletta. We're not done talking about this. Dad said. Yes, we are. I'm not going on this vacation. I need all of you to accept that. I grabbed my purse and headed for the door. Madison and Tyler called after me, but I couldn't stay. If I stayed another minute, I was going to say something I'd regret. I drove home in a daze. Once I was safely in my apartment, I called my best friend from college, Jenna. She was a family law attorney in Portland now, and I desperately needed advice. They did what? Jenna's voice was sharp with anger after I explained everything. They used my credit card without permission and booked me as free childcare for a 10-day vacation. Aletta, that's financial abuse. What they're doing is conditioning you to accept mistreatment. You need to set hard boundaries right now. But they're my family. That doesn't give them the right to steal from you or manipulate you. Document everything. Take screenshots of those texts and that email. If they won't refund you, you might need to file a police report. I can't file a police report against my own parents. Then they're counting on that, aren't they? They're banking on the fact that you love them too much to hold them accountable. After we hung up, I sat on my couch for a long time. Jenna was right. My family had learned over the years that I would always give in eventually. I was the responsible one, the flexible one, the one who sacrificed so everyone else could be comfortable. But I was done. I opened the family group chat and typed a message. My hands were shaking, but my resolve was solid. I will not be attending the vacation. Please make other arrangements for childcare. I expect to be reimbursed for the charges made to my credit card without my authorization. I hit send and silenced my phone. Over the next 3 days, my phone became a weapon of psychological warfare. Caroline called 37 times in the first 2 hours after my message. I didn't answer. The voicemails started out sweet and progressively got more angry. My mother sent a long text about how I was breaking her heart and ruining this family. My father sent multiple messages calling me selfish and immature. Even Derek texted, "You're really going to let everyone down like this?" On Tuesday evening, there was a knock on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole and saw Caroline standing there with Madison and Tyler. The kids were wearing matching outfits with palm trees and surfboards printed on them. Obviously new. Obviously bought specifically for this moment. I opened the door. "We were in the neighborhood," Caroline said brightly. Too brightly. "The twins wanted to see you. Aunt Aletta." They rushed forward and I couldn't help but hug them. "Come on in," I said, even though I knew this was a mistake. Caroline directed them toward my bedroom. "Why don't you two go play with Aunt Alita's stuffed animals? Mommy needs to talk to her for a minute." Once they were out of earshot, Caroline's bright smile disappeared. "What are you doing?" she hissed. "You're making me look like a liar. I already posted about our family vacation online. Do you know how embarrassing this is? You're embarrassed? Caroline, you literally booked me as a nanny without asking. Oh, come on, don't be so dramatic. I just thought it would be easier if we had connecting rooms. The twins sometimes wake up at night, and I need my sleep. Is that so wrong? You made reservation notes that said I would provide childcare services." She waved her hand dismissively. "That was just so the resort would give us the kid-friendly amenities. You're blowing this way out of proportion." "I'm not going, Caroline." Her face hardened. "Do you know how expensive childcare is? I'd have to pay someone $15 an hour to watch the twins. That's over $1,000 for the trip. You owe me this." "I owe you? After everything our family has done for you. Mom and Dad paid for your college books that one semester? Remember? You never paid them back." I stared at her. "I paid them back 6 months later. It was $300, and I gave them cash." "Well, they don't remember it that way. So what? My family keeps a ledger of imaginary debts. You've always been the selfish one," Caroline snapped. "I gave Mom and Dad grandchildren. What have you given them? A fancy job title? Please. You're so focused on your career that you've forgotten what actually matters in life." From my bedroom, I heard Madison call out, "Mommy, can we show Aunt Aletta our new swimsuits?" Caroline's expression shifted instantly back to sweet. "Of course, baby. The twins came running out, each holding a tiny swimsuit. They were adorable and excited and completely innocent. My heart ached. "These are so cute," I said, kneeling down to their level. "You're going to look like little mermaids. You're going to help us look for seashells, right?" Tyler asked. I looked up at Caroline, who was watching me with that same satisfied smile from Sunday dinner. Shed coached them. Shed put these words in their mouths. "I love you both so much," I said carefully. "But Aunt Aletta has to work. Sometimes grown-ups have jobs that they can't leave." "But Mommy said you promised," Madison said, her lower lip trembling. "I never promised, sweetheart. Mommy, you said Aunt Aletta promised." Madison turned to Caroline, confused and upset. Caroline laughed awkwardly. "Well, I thought she did. Aunt Aletta must have misunderstood me." I stood up slowly, anger building in my chest. "Caroline, can I talk to you in the kitchen?" We stepped away from the twins. I kept my voice low and controlled. "Don't ever use your children to manipulate me again. Don't tell them I made promises I didn't make. Don't bring them here as emotional blackmail. This is between us." "Everything is always so black and white with you," Caroline said. "Can't you just be flexible for once? Can't you just help your family? I help all the time. I've been helping for years. But this? This isn't helping. This is being used." She grabbed her purse. "Fine. Be selfish. But don't come crying to me when you're old and alone and you realize you pushed everyone away." She called the twins, and they left. Madison looked back at me with confusion in her eyes. That look haunted me for the rest of the night. The day of departure arrived. Id barely slept. My suitcase sat by my door, packed not for Florida but for a different destination. Id made a decision. At 6 in the morning, Caroline texted the group chat. "Everyone meet at the airport at 8. Flight leaves at 11. Don't be late." I took a shower, got dressed, and loaded my car. Then I drove to SeaTac Airport. I found my family at the check-in counter. The twins spotted me first and came running. "You came! You came!" Tyler wrapped his arms around my legs. My mother let out a visible sigh of relief. "Oh, thank God. Aletta, you had us so worried." Caroline was already walking toward me, a large backpack in her hands. "Here's the twin supplies. I packed everything you'll need. Snacks, activities, extra clothes. Oh, and here are their boarding passes. I made sure you're sitting with them. Derek and I are a few rows up, so well be close if you need anything, but you should be fine." She said it so casually, as if this was all completely normal and agreed upon. My father was talking to the airline agent about luggage. I heard him say my name and walked over. "There's an issue with your ticket," the agent was saying. "What kind of issue?" I asked. She looked at her computer screen. "It appears there was a seat change made to your reservation. You're currently assigned to seat 23B, which is a middle seat in basic economy. But according to this note, you requested to be seated with 2 child passengers." "I didn't request that," I said. Caroline appeared at my elbow. I made the change, so she could sit with Madison and Tyler. "Is there a problem?" The agent looked uncomfortable. "Well, the issue is that 2 other passengers in your party upgraded to first class, and those upgrades were purchased using the travel credit from this passenger's account." She gestured to me. My stomach dropped. "What?" "Caroline and Derek's seats were upgraded to first class using a credit of $260 from your original booking. Your seat was then moved to accommodate the children in economy." I turned to Caroline slowly. "You used my travel credit to upgrade yourselves to first class." She had the grace to look slightly embarrassed. "Derek really values the extra legroom. And I thought since you'd be with the twins anyway. And there's one more thing," the agent said hesitantly. 4 checked bags were added to your account this morning. The baggage fees total $400 and have already posted to your credit card on file. 4 bags. My father cleared his throat. "We thought it would be easier to put all the family's luggage under one account. You know how expensive bag fees are these days." I looked at each of them. My parents, avoiding eye contact. Derek checking his phone. Caroline with that fake apologetic smile. The twins, holding hands and looking confused. "Excuse me," I said to the agent. "I need to use the restroom." I grabbed my suitcase handle. Caroline reached for it. "You can leave your bag with us." "Well, watch it." "That's okay," I said. "I've got it." I walked away from the counter, my heart pounding. I walked past the security checkpoint. I walked past the restrooms. I kept walking until I reached the terminal exit. At the automatic doors, I paused and looked back. I could see my family in the distance, still clustered around the check-in counter. Caroline was probably wondering where I was. In a few minutes, she'd start calling. I turned off my phone, picked up my suitcase, and walked out into the morning air. I got in my car and started driving. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I wasn't getting on that plane. I drove south on Interstate 5, watching Seattle disappear in my rearview mirror. Somewhere around Olympia, I started crying. Not sad tears. Relief. For the first time in 10 years, I had chosen myself. I woke up the next morning in a hotel room in Portland. After driving for 3 hours the previous day, I'd checked into the first decent hotel I'd found and slept for 12 hours straight. It was the best sleep I'd had in months. I reached for my phone, hesitated, then turned it on. It immediately started buzzing with notifications. The screen filled with numbers, 417 text messages, 63 missed calls. My voicemail was full. I made myself coffee from the hotel room machine and sat down to read them. Caroline had sent 143 messages. They started sweet. "Where are you? Are you okay? We're worried. Aletta, this isn't funny. We're about to board. Where did you go?" Then they turned angry. "Everyone is asking where you are. You're embarrassing me in front of all these people. I'm sitting on this plane trying to entertain 2 screaming children alone while everyone stares at me. Thanks a lot. Do you have any idea what you've done? Madison is crying because you lied to her. You told her you loved her, and then you just disappeared. What kind of person does that?" Then they became vicious. "You ruined everything. Our entire vacation is destroyed because of you. I hope you're happy. I hope your stupid job was worth it. You did this on purpose. You wanted to sabotage my vacation because you're jealous of my life. The twins are asking for you and I have to tell them their aunt doesn't love them. You're traumatizing them." The final message, sent at 11 o'clock the previous night. "You're dead to me. Don't ever contact my children again." My mother's 98 messages followed a similar pattern. Disappointment, guilt, anger. "I can't believe you would do this to us. Your father's blood pressure is through the roof. If something happens to him, it's on you. We've never had a vacation without the whole family. You destroyed our tradition. Just apologize and fly down tomorrow. We can fix this. Family forgives. You are selfish, ungrateful, and cruel. I raised you better than this." My father's 41 messages were shorter but just as cutting. Most of them were variations of, "You're a disappointment." Several mentioned wasted money. One said he was reconsidering his will. Derek's 32 messages were more calculated. "Caroline is having a complete breakdown. Hope you're happy. Someone has to watch these kids during this flight. Thanks for nothing. You could have at least waited until after we landed. Now we're stuck dealing with this mess at 30,000 feet. Caroline threw up in the airplane bathroom from stress. The flight attendants had to get involved. This is on you." I set my phone down and closed my eyes. I tried to feel guilty. I tried to feel bad about what Ed had done. But mostly, I just felt tired. I pieced together what had happened from the messages. Caroline and Derek had indeed taken their first-class seats, assuming it'd appear at the last minute. When boarding was almost complete and I hadn't shown up, they'd had to move back to economy with the twins. Madison and Tyler had been excited at first, thinking it was an adventure. But the 5-hour flight had been difficult. The twins were energetic kids who needed attention and entertainment. Caroline, who had planned to sleep and watch movies in first class, had instead spent 5 hours managing 2 overstimulated children in a cramped space. According to Derek's messages, Caroline had handled it badly. The twins had been loud. Other passengers had complained. Caroline had gotten defensive and made a scene. By the time they landed in Miami, she was, in Derek's words, mortified. At the resort, they'd tried to cancel my room. The hotel had refused to refund it. So now they were paying for a room no one was using while also dealing with the twins 24/7. The connecting door remained locked from Caroline's side, but she couldn't escape into it for breaks like Shed planned. From the messages, I learned that my parents were helping with the twins, which meant they were frustrated that their relaxing vacation had turned into active grandparenting. My father had complained about having to watch them at the pool while Caroline went to check in. My mother had sent 3 messages about how exhausting it was to keep up with 5-year-olds. I spent the day in Portland, walking around the city, eating good food, and thinking. I called Jenna and told her everything. "I'm so proud of you," she said. "Do you know how hard it is to walk away like that? I feel guilty about the twins. The twins have 2 parents and 2 grandparents with them. They're fine, you're not responsible for them." Caroline said I traumatized them. Caroline is projecting. She traumatized them by building up expectations and using them as pawns. That's not on you. That evening, I got a message from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, but curiosity made me open it. "Hi, Aletta. My name is Bethany Morrison. You don't know me, but I was on the flight with your family yesterday. I'm reaching out because I thought you should know what's happening." My heart started racing. I typed back, "What do you mean?" She replied with a link to a Facebook group called Entitled Parents. Exposed. It had over 200,000 members. I posted a video in this group. "I think you should see it." I clicked the link. The video had been posted 18 hours ago and already had 34,000 views. The caption read, "First-class mom loses it when forced to parent her own kids in economy." I pressed play. The video showed Caroline from behind, clearly shot discreetly by someone a few rows back. Her voice was loud and sharp. "Sit down!" I said, "Sit down." "No, you can't have another snack." "Because I said so." Madison's small voice. "But you said Aunt Aletta would play with us." Caroline, getting louder. "Well, Aunt Aletta isn't here, is she? Because she's selfish and she doesn't care about you." Tyler started crying. Caroline's voice rose to a near shout. "Stop crying! Both of you, just stop! Your aunt was supposed to deal with you." She ruined everything. A flight attendant appeared in the frame, speaking quietly to Caroline. Caroline turned on her, and though the words weren't clear, her body language was aggressive. The flight attendant backed away. Other passengers were staring. Derek's voice could be heard trying to calm Caroline down, but she was spiraling. The video ended. The comments section had over 3,000 replies. "What kind of mother expects someone else to parent her kids on a vacation? She's mad because she actually has to take care of her own children? Unbelievable. Those poor babies. They don't deserve this. Entitled doesn't even begin to cover it." I scrolled through more comments. People were tagging their friends, sharing it to other groups. Someone had started trying to identify Caroline. Then I saw a comment that made my blood run cold. I found her Instagram. It's Caroline. Twin mom life. She's an influencer. I clicked over to Caroline's Instagram. She had 47,000 followers. Her bio read, "Twin mama, lifestyle blogger, living my best life." Her latest post was from the airport, 24 hours ago. It showed her and Derek with the twins, everyone smiling. The caption read, "Family vacation mode activated. Can't wait to make memories with my favorite people. Blessed." The comments on that post were turning ugly. Is this the same person from that airplane video? How fake can you be? Imagine posting this while verbally abusing your kids on a plane. Your poor sister who you threw under the bus. I clicked back to Bethany's message. "I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I thought you deserved to know what she said about you publicly. The video is going viral. It's been picked up by several mom-shaming accounts." I typed back, "Thank you for telling me. Can I ask why you took the video? I have twins too, 7 years old." I was horrified by how she was speaking to those babies. And when she started blaming someone who wasn't even there, I knew something wasn't right. I checked her Instagram after we landed and saw all her perfect posts. The hypocrisy made me angry. People like her give regular moms a bad name. I thanked her and closed my phone. Part of me felt vindicated. Part of me felt sick. Those were my niece and nephew in that video, crying because their mother was having a meltdown. I checked Caroline's Instagram again an hour later. She was losing followers. The number dropped from 47,000 to 46,000 as I watched. Comments on all her recent posts were being flooded with criticism. My phone buzzed with a new message. Caroline. From a different number I hadn't blocked yet. Please call me. I need to talk to you. It's important. Then another. Aletta, please. There's been a misunderstanding. People are attacking me online. I need you to help me fix this. Then, you owe me this. If you'd been there, none of this would have happened. You need to make a statement. Tell people you got sick. Tell them you wanted to come. Tell them something. I turned off my phone and went to bed. By the morning of day 3 of my family's vacation, Caroline's social media crisis had exploded beyond anything I could have imagined. I'd spent the previous day driving back to Seattle, and when I got home, I'd made the mistake of looking at my phone. The airplane video had been shared over 80,000 times. It had jumped from the mom shaming group to Twitter, where it had gone viral again. Someone had created a hashtag, number entitled Caroline. News sites were picking it up as a trending story about parenting and influencer culture. Caroline's Instagram was hemorrhaging followers. She'd lost over 10,000 in 2 days. Her carefully curated posts about perfect motherhood were being dissected in comments. People were going through her entire feed, finding inconsistencies, pointing out how many of her family moments didn't actually include her children. Her sponsored posts were being tagged by people demanding the brands drop her. Several companies had already removed their posts with her and issued statements about not aligning with their values, but it was the comments that really showed how bad it had gotten. She literally blamed her sister for her own bad parenting. Imagine being so entitled you think someone else should raise your kids on your family vacation. This is what happens when your whole life is performative. Those poor children deserve better. Then someone found and posted screenshots of the old group chat messages where my family had pressured me to come on the trip. I had no idea how they'd gotten them. Maybe someone had shared them from my family's phones? Or maybe Caroline had posted them herself at some point, trying to make me look bad, and they'd been saved? The screenshots showed my polite refusals, my explanations about work, and then my mother's messages about how I was being dramatic. Caroline's message about needing me to watch the twins, the casual mention that I'd be in a connecting room, the revelation about the non-refundable charges to my card. The narrative shifted completely. Now people weren't just angry at Caroline for being a bad parent. They were angry at her for being an exploitative sister. She literally stole from her sister and expected free childcare. This is beyond entitled. The whole family is toxic. They ganged up on her. I hope the sister never speaks to them again. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with new messages from Caroline. She'd moved past anger into desperation. My sponsors are dropping me. 3 brands canceled contracts today. This is my income, Aletta. I might lose our house. Please. I'm begging you. Just post something. Anything. Say this was a misunderstanding. I'll pay you back every cent. I swear. I'll never ask you to babysit again. Just please help me fix this. My family group chat, which I'd muted but hadn't left, was equally frantic. Mom. Aletta, your sister needs you. Whatever happened between you two, family forgives. You need to come forward and support her. Dad. This is getting out of hand. Caroline's reputation is destroyed. You need to make a public statement clearing this up. Derek. Caroline hasn't eaten in 2 days. She's having panic attacks every few hours. You need to fix this. My coworkers had found the videos. Several had sent me private messages asking if I was okay. My boss, Patricia, called me into her office. She said carefully, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine," I said. "It's a family situation. If you need time off to deal with this, let me know. And Aletta, for what it's worth, I think you made the right call not going on that trip. Your team has been excellent during this launch, and you've been leading them brilliantly. Sometimes work is work, and family needs to respect that. That afternoon, Jenna called me. Have you seen the latest? What latest? Check Caroline's Instagram. She just posted something. I opened the app. Caroline had posted a long caption with a photo of herself looking tearful and makeup-free, sitting on a hotel balcony. The caption read, "I want to address what happened on our flight. I'm not perfect. I was having a hard moment as a mother, and someone chose to film it and share it with the world. Parenting is hard, especially twin parenting. Sometimes we snap, sometimes we say things we don't mean. To anyone I hurt with my words, I apologize. To my sister, if you're reading this, I'm sorry you felt pressured about this trip. I love you, and I hope we can work through this. To my beautiful Madison and Tyler, Mommy loves you more than anything. To everyone sending hate, please remember that I'm human, I'm trying my best. Number mental health matters, number mom life, number grace, please." The comments were not sympathetic. This is the most narcissistic non-apology I've ever seen. She's still the victim in her own story. Notice she doesn't actually take responsibility for anything. Her sister didn't feel pressured. Her sister's credit card was literally stolen. I felt my phone buzz. Caroline was calling from yet another new number. I answered. "Did you see my post?" She asked immediately. Her voice was hoarse. I apologized. "Can you please say something now? Can you support me?" In the background, I heard something. Music. Spa music. "Caroline, where are you right now?" "What?" "I'm at the hotel." "Why? Are you at the spa?" A pause. Then Derek's voice, distant. "Is she going to fix it or not? I already posted 30 minutes late. Brittany's going to know something's wrong." I closed my eyes. Even now, in the middle of what Caroline claimed was the worst moment of her life, she was at the spa. Derek was worried about his social media posting schedule, and my parents were apparently watching the twins. "Caroline," I said slowly, "are Madison and Tyler with you right now?" "They're with Mom and Dad. At the beach. So you cut your family vacation short to go to the spa? While your life is supposedly falling apart." I needed to clear my head. "I'm under so much stress. Let me get this straight. You had a meltdown on an airplane because you had to parent your own kids for 5 hours? That meltdown got filmed and went viral. You're losing followers and sponsors. And your solution is to go to the spa and have your parents watch the kids while you relax. You don't understand what I'm going through." "You're right. I don't. Because if I were going through this, it'd be with my children, making sure they were okay after being screamed at on a plane in front of strangers. It'd be focused on them, not on my image, so you're not going to help me. Caroline, I love you, but this isn't my problem to fix. You did this. You need to fix yourself. I can't believe you. After everything this family has done for you." "What has this family done for me, Caroline?" "What? You stole $3,600 from me. You tried to trick me into being free labor for 10 days. You used your children as emotional blackmail. You lied to them about me, and when I finally stood up for myself, you made me the villain. So please tell me. What has this family done for me?" Silence on the other end. "I have to go," she finally said. "Caroline, wait. I do want to say one thing." "What?" "I love Madison and Tyler. They're innocent in all of this. When you're ready to actually be their mother, when you're ready to stop using them as props for your social media and actually focus on their well-being, I'll be there for them. As their aunt, not as your free childcare." I hung up before she could respond. I blocked the new number and sat down on my couch. My hands were shaking. I'd never spoken to my sister like that before. Part of me felt guilty, but a bigger part of me felt free. My family came home 3 days earlier than planned. Caroline posted about it on Instagram, of course, spinning it as, "Sometimes you need to listen to your heart and go home early. Family first." The comments remained brutal. I knew they were back because Derek posted a photo of their driveway with the caption, "Home Sweet Home." I also knew because my mother started calling me again. I didn't answer. But on Friday evening, 1 week after the airport incident, someone knocked on my door. I checked the peephole. My parents stood in the hallway, looking tired and serious. I debated not answering. But we were going to have this conversation eventually. It might as well be now. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. "What do you want?" "We need to discuss your behavior," my father said sternly. "My behavior?" I almost laughed. "Let's discuss yours first. Let's discuss the $3,600 you stole from my credit card." "We didn't steal anything," my mother said. "We made a family booking. And we assumed you'd contribute. You don't get to assume someone will pay for something without asking them first. That's called theft." "Don't be dramatic," my father said. "We're family. Family helps each other. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't manipulate each other. Family doesn't use children as emotional weapons. You abandoned your sister when she needed you most," my mother said, her voice rising. "Her whole life is falling apart, and you won't even help her. Her life is falling apart because of her own choices, not mine." My father stepped forward, his face red. "You will not talk to your mother like this. You will show respect. I will show respect when I receive it. You want to know what happened? You want to know why I walked away at that airport? Because you all treated me like I was your property. Like my money, my time, and my life belonged to you. You made decisions for me. You manipulated me. You guilted me. And when I finally said no, you punished me." "We didn't punish you," my mother said. "We're trying to hold this family together. By forcing everyone to do what you want? That's not family. That's control. We're not doing this in the hallway," my father said. "Either let us in, or we're leaving." "Then leave." They stared at me in shock. I'd never refused them anything before. "If you want to have a real conversation," I continued, "one where you actually listen instead of lecture, I'm willing to do that. But not like this. Not with you showing up unannounced and making demands. You want to talk? Call me first. Make an appointment. Treat me like an adult." "We will not make an appointment to see our own daughter," my father said. "Then we have nothing to discuss." I started to close the door. My mother put her hand out to stop it. "You know what your problem is, Aletta? You're selfish. You always have been. You care more about yourself than your family." Something in me snapped. I have spent the last 10 years dropping everything whenever this family needed something. I've babysat every weekend. I've missed work events. I've canceled plans. I've given money I couldn't afford to give. I've listened to Caroline complain about her life while she posts perfect photos online. I've watched Dad criticize every choice I make while praising everything Caroline does. I've let Mom guilt me into doing things I didn't want to do. And for what? So you could all feel good about yourselves while treating me like the family servant. That's not fair, my mother said, tears in her eyes. No, it's not fair. None of this has been fair. But I'm done. I'm done being the one who sacrifices so everyone else can be comfortable. I'm done being blamed when I set boundaries. I'm done carrying burdens that aren't mine. If you want to be part of this family, my father said coldly, you need to accept your responsibilities. Then maybe I don't want to be part of this family. Not like this. They left without another word. I closed the door and leaned against it, my whole body shaking. The next morning, I received a text from Caroline. Can we talk? Just the two of us? Please. I didn't respond immediately. I went for a run, made breakfast, and thought about what I wanted to say. Then I texted back. Coffee shop on Pine Street, tomorrow at 10. She agreed. I arrived first and got a table in the back. Caroline walked in 15 minutes late, looking nothing like her Instagram photos. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She wore no makeup. Her eyes were red and swollen. She sat down without ordering anything. Thank you for coming, she said quietly. I waited. I know I messed up, she continued. I know I hurt you. I've been thinking about it nonstop. Okay. I need you to know something. I've been jealous of you for years. I blinked. Jealous of me. You have freedom. A career, you can pick up and go wherever you want. You don't have to negotiate your life with anyone. And I have chaos. I have 2 kids who need me every second. I have a husband who's never around. I have this life that looks perfect on Instagram but feels like a prison. She started crying. Real tears, not the performed kind from her airport photos. I took it out on you because you were available. You were always there when I needed you, so I kept needing you. And I convinced myself that you owed me because I had the kids and you didn't. Like somehow having children made me more important than you. It wasn't just you, I said. Mom and Dad treated us differently. I know. They always went easier on me. And I let them. I used it. When I wanted something, I knew I could get them on my side against you. Like with the vacation, like with a lot of things. She wiped her eyes. The vacation was supposed to be this perfect trip, where Derek and I could remember why we got married. The twins were supposed to be entertained by you so we could focus on us, and Mom and Dad were supposed to finally see me as this successful mom with the perfect life. It was all about my ego. What about Derek? I asked. She looked away. Derek and I aren't doing well. We haven't been for a while. 3 days later, I received a certified letter. My heart raced as I opened it, afraid it was something legal from my parents. It was from a lawyer, but not for me. It was meant for Caroline, but it had been sent to my address by mistake. I read the first line and my blood ran cold. Derek was filing for divorce. He was suing for full custody. The letter cited Caroline as an unfit mother, referencing the viral video and claiming Shed abandoned her children with relatives to pursue vanity projects. I called Caroline immediately. Did you get a letter from Derek's lawyer? How did you know about that? Her voice was barely a whisper. They sent a copy to my address by mistake. Caroline, he's going for full custody. I know. He served me this morning. Hez using everything. The video, things my parents said about me during the vacation. He even has a statement from a resort employee about how I was at the spa while Mom and Dad watched the kids. What are you going to do? I don't know. My lawyer says I need character witnesses, people who can testify that I'm a good mother. But who's going to do that after everything that's been exposed? I closed my eyes. After everything Shed done, I should have felt satisfaction. Justice, even. But all I felt was sadness for Madison and Tyler. What do you need? I asked. I need you to tell the truth. Not lies. Not some made-up perfect version. Just the truth. Are you a good mother when you're actually with them? Do you love them? Yes. When I'm actually present with them, I'm good. I love them more than anything. I just got lost in trying to be perfect, instead of just being their mom. Then he'll testify to that. He'll tell the truth. But Caroline, I won't lie for you. He'll be honest about everything. I know. Thank you. 2 weeks later, I sat in a lawyer's office giving a deposition. Caroline's attorney asked me questions about her relationship with the twins. I was honest. Caroline has made mistakes. She's put social media ahead of her children. She's used family members as free childcare. She's manipulated people, including me. But I've also seen her stay up all night when the twins were sick. I've seen her research every developmental milestone. I've seen her cry because she was afraid she wasn't good enough for them. She loves her children. She's flawed, but she loves them. The attorney asked about Derek. I was honest about that too. Derek has never changed a diaper in my presence. Has skipped every birthday party I've attended. When I've been at their house, has always in his office on calls. I'm not saying he doesn't love his children. I'm saying I've never witnessed him actively parenting them. After my deposition, Derek's lawyer tried to get me to change my statement. I refused. My testimony, combined with testimonies from my parents who had to admit their own role in the family dysfunction, helped Caroline's case. 2 months after the airport incident, Derek and Caroline reached a settlement. 50-50 custody. Derek had to pay child support. Caroline kept the house. The divorce was ugly, but at least the twins would have both parents in their lives. 6 months after I walked away from that airport, I stood in a park in Seattle, watching Madison and Tyler play on the swings. The autumn air was crisp, the leaves were turning gold and red, and for the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. Caroline had texted me that morning asking if I could spend time with the twins. But this time Shed asked, not demanded, not manipulated, just asked. I have a therapy appointment this afternoon. Would you be willing to watch Madison and Tyler? If you're busy, I can reschedule. Id said yes because I wanted to, not because I felt obligated. Things had changed dramatically in my family. Caroline had completed 6 months of therapy and was working 2 part-time jobs to make ends meet. Her Instagram account was now private, with only 300 followers, mostly real friends and family. Shed stopped trying to be an influencer and started trying to be a mother. She and I met for coffee every other week. Our relationship was different now. Honest. Sometimes uncomfortable. But real. My parents had been forced to confront their role in the family dysfunction during the custody proceedings. They'd admitted in court that they'd treated Caroline and me differently, that they'd enabled Caroline's behavior, and that they'd pressured me unfairly. It was humiliating for them, but necessary. Our relationship was still healing. They'd paid me back every cent they owed, in monthly installments. We had family dinners once a month, but I didn't attend every one. When I said no, they accepted it now. Mostly, my father had apologized, stiffly and awkwardly, 3 months after the airport incident. I was wrong about the vacation, Head said. I was wrong about a lot of things. I'm trying to do better. My mother had taken longer. But last month, Shed called me and said something I never thought I'd hear. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. Even when it was standing up to me. The biggest change was in me. Id started seeing a therapist who specialized in family dynamics. Id learned words like enmeshment and parentification and emotional manipulation. Id learned that setting boundaries wasn't selfish. It was survival. My work project had launched successfully. Id received a promotion and a substantial raise. Id started dating someone I met through a friend, a graphic designer named Aaron, who thought my family stories were intense, but you handled it like a warrior. But most importantly, Id learned to choose myself, not in a selfish way but in a healthy way. Id learned that I could love my family without letting them destroy me. I could care about them without carrying them. Madison ran up to me, her cheeks flushed from playing. Aunt Aletta, can we get ice cream? Did your mom say it was okay? She said to ask you. I smiled. A year ago, Caroline would have told them yes without considering that I might have other plans. Now she was actually parenting, actually making decisions, actually being present. Sure. Let's get ice cream. As we walked toward the ice cream shop, Tyler holding my right hand and Madison holding my left, my phone buzzed. It was Caroline. Thank you for today. You didn't have to. I texted back with one hand. I wanted to. That's the difference. And that really was the difference. Everything I did for my family now was a choice, not an obligation. And that made all the difference in the world. That evening, after Eid returned the twins to Caroline, I sat on my balcony with a cup of tea and thought about everything that had happened. 6 months ago, I'd been standing in an airport, my heart pounding, making the hardest decision of my life. Walking away from my family felt like betrayal. It felt like failure. It felt like the end of everything. But it wasn't the end. It was the beginning. For years, Id believed that love meant sacrifice. Id thought being a good daughter, a good sister, a good aunt, meant saying yes to everything. Id thought boundaries were selfish, that standing up for myself was cruel, that putting my needs first made me a bad person. But Id learned something crucial. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's people-pleasing, it's self-abandonment. It's a transaction where you give everything and receive nothing but guilt when you finally have nothing left to give. The people who truly love you will respect your limits. They'll hear no and still love you. They'll understand when you choose yourself and not punish you for it. The ones who don't aren't upset that you changed. They're upset they can't control you anymore. Walking away from that airport was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but it was also the moment I chose myself for the first time in my adult life. And that choice changed everything. My family didn't fall apart when I set boundaries. It actually became stronger. We had to rebuild on honesty instead of obligation. We had to learn to communicate instead of manipulate. We had to accept each other as we actually were, not as we wanted each other to be. I'm not responsible for everyone's happiness, I'm not responsible for fixing everyone's mistakes. I'm not responsible for being everything to everyone. I'm responsible for my own life, my own choices, my own peace. And that's not selfish. That's survival. That's self-respect. That's real love. Caroline still has hard days. My parents still sometimes fall into old patterns. Derek is trying to be a more present father, though it's an uphill battle. The twins are resilient and adjusting well to their new normal. And me? I'm learning to live without guilt. I'm learning that I can say yes when I want to, and no when I need to. And both are valid choices. I'm learning that I deserve relationships based on mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice. I still see Madison and Tyler regularly. But now, when I'm with them, I'm fully present because I want to be there, not because I was guilted into it. They're learning what healthy boundaries look like. They're seeing that Aunt Aletta can love them and still have her own life. They're learning that no is a complete sentence. Last week, Madison asked me why I didn't come on the vacation. She's 5, but kids understand more than we think they do. I knelt down to her level and said, sometimes people ask us to do things that aren't good for us. And it's okay to say no, even to people we love. That doesn't mean we don't love them. It means we love ourselves too. She thought about that for a moment, then nodded. Like when Tyler wants me to give him all my toys. But I say no because they're mine. Exactly like that. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to keep carrying what was never yours to carry in the first place. I put down my tea and looked out at the Seattle skyline. The lights were coming on as the sun set. Somewhere in this city, there were probably other people learning to set boundaries. Other people choosing themselves for the first time. Other people walking away from airports or dinners or relationships that were slowly killing them. I hoped they had the courage to do it. I hoped they knew they weren't alone. I hoped they learned what I learned. That you can't pour from an empty cup. That you can't light yourself on fire to keep others warm. And that the people who truly matter will love you not despite your boundaries but because you have them. My phone buzzed again. Aaron asking if I wanted to get dinner. I smiled and texted back yes. I can say yes now because it's a choice, not a demand. I can say no and know I'm still worthy of love. I can show up for people when I have the capacity and excuse myself when I don't. And somehow, that's made all my relationships better. The twins are thriving. Caroline is healing. My parents are learning. And I'm finally free. That's the lesson I want to share with anyone listening to this story. You are not responsible for everyone else's emotions, expectations, or entitlement. You are allowed to have boundaries. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to walk away from situations that hurt you, even if the people in those situations are family. It won't be easy. People will call you selfish. They'll say you're tearing the family apart. They'll guilt you and manipulate you and tell you that you're the problem. But here's the truth. The family was already broken. You're just refusing to pretend it wasn't. Setting boundaries doesn't break relationships. It reveals which relationships were real to begin with. 6 months ago, I thought walking away would cost me everything. Instead, it gave me everything. It gave me peace. It gave me self-respect. It gave me the space to build relationships based on love instead of obligation. And most importantly, it gave me myself back. So if you're standing in your own metaphorical airport right now, wondering if you have the courage to walk away, I want you to know, you do. And on the other side of that fear is freedom. It's messy and uncomfortable and sometimes lonely, but it's real. And real is always better than pretending. You deserve relationships where you're valued, not used. You deserve family members who respect your boundaries. You deserve to choose yourself without apologizing for it. And if the people in your life can't accept that, then maybe it's time to find people who can. I'm not saying cut off your family. I'm not saying burn all your bridges. I'm saying know your worth. Demand, respect, set boundaries, and be willing to enforce them, even when it's hard. Because you can't have real love without real respect. And you can't have real respect without real boundaries. That's what I learned standing in that airport. That's what I want you to know too. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to walk away from a family obligation that was hurting you? How do you handle it when the people you love don't respect your boundaries? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who might need to hear that they're not alone. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories and realize they're not the only ones struggling with difficult family dynamics. And if you want to hear more stories about setting boundaries, finding yourself, and choosing peace over obligation, please subscribe to this channel. We share new stories every week. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe they're standing in their own airport right now, trying to decide if they have the courage to walk away. Maybe your sharing this could be the sign they need that it's okay to choose themselves. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. I hope wherever you are in your own journey, you find the courage to set the boundaries you need, the strength to enforce them, and the peace that comes from knowing you're worthy of respect. Remember, you are not selfish for having boundaries. You are not cruel for enforcing them. You are not wrong for choosing yourself. You're just finally, beautifully, courageously free.